Are you
Hey
ready?
everybody, it's Dr. Wilyonson. We're ready and rolling, man. I got my friend Andre here. We're going to talk shop about his journey to 100, how he came to find us, what we did for him. Really
Yes,
great
sir.
opportunity, like I was mentioning, to share your story not only for people that aren't a part of Woobie, but even those that are in it, because there's hurdles. No matter what you do, we're dealing with a VA that doesn't make things easy. Sometimes you get situations where you get results out of nowhere and things you didn't
Correct.
expect. So all right, take the floor, tell them who you are and, kind of your backstory.
Yeah, so my name is Andre Johnson. I'm a United States Navy veteran, and I served during the Gulf War. I remember getting out and not really having any resources. Being told about from some of my former vets that were in about getting the military disability and how it could help me and my family. And I was majorly affected from my mental health when I was in. I was technically medically discharged. I've been, I first put in my first claim in 2016. I didn't know what I was doing. I put in for like 15 different things because I really had all those different issues going on in my life. And I had late statements from my wife, you know, uh, and I got denied for everything. When I went to the VA in Colorado at the time, I felt like they truly didn't care. Right. I mean, you have some docs that care, and then you have some that don't. I mean, when I went to my first CMP exam, it seemed like I had to damn near be on a deathbed in order to get, the proper treatment and proper care. And, fast forward 8 years, almost 10 years later, right? 2024 is when I started with Woobie, and I met with CJ and Josh, and they got me signed up. And I remember when, you know, I got prepped and educated on the process on how to properly submit the documents. I mean, we had to gather all of my medical information, and I did lose hope. I didn't submit the last claim that I submitted was in 2017. So I submitted one in 2016 and I submitted another one in 2017 and I just gave up. I think I looked back into it around 2022, but I just really didn't care at that point because I felt like the VA had failed me as a vet. I've seen it happen so many times. And when I got with Ruby, you guys just gave me this ultra, I mean, it's so much care and love in the process, right? And I felt like I was at home. And, you walked me through the process from s- point A to point Z. And I was like, okay, well, what do I need to do? Right. And I got reevaluated. And, I live in Texas now. And I went to the VA and I felt like the VA here was a little different. I mean, it just depends on who you get. But again, understanding DBQs and how they work and, getting the true help from you guys, it changed my life. I remember I was at 0%. Well, I wasn't even service connected at first when I started, and I was, again, it's a thing where you just have to really believe in yourself and believe in Wooby and believe in the company because you guys know what it takes in order to get vets what they deserve. And a lot of people look at us like, it's like, hey, you're getting this money, but it's like, dude, we put our life on the line, and a lot of us are affected. I went through a divorce, got remarried, I really deal with certain, mental health issues. And I went from not being service connected to being 0% service connected, uh, non-compensable, which means no compensation for those that understand. Then I went to 70%, and then I went to 100% PNT, all within 9 months. Or really, yeah, I would say about 10 months time, which is unheard of. You don't ever hear about that happening uh,
And
within
let
really
me
any
jump in
company.
here
Yeah,
because, again, it's hard because, we want to be optimistic and we want to make, solid expectations and, we want to be, not doom and gloom, but the reality is that as you
excuse me.
describe, and so many of us, right? Like,
Yeah,
we know it is kind of doom and gloom. And
a
I
hundred
think
percent.
one of the things that we really take pride in is never over promising and underperforming, but the opposite. Under promise, over perform, because you don't want to get, there's going to be denials even with good claim packages. This is just the VA we deal with. But
Correct.
it's being real with people, and I think that's what we do a little differently. Is that yeah, we're going to motivate you to do the right things the way we see it, to build these things out with truth and evidence. It's not like we came out, of our ass with this stuff or out of thin air
Yeah,
or told you what to say. It's just helping you tell your story the right way. That's
a hundred
true. Go to
percent.
the right
Yeah,
appointment, build things the right way, support it effectively. And in the end, I tell people a lot, like in the end, we'll make it work. We're going to say the truth and point to things, and there's going to be work and a partnership involved. So, you know,
yeah, and yeah.
it sucks to see people, get almost gaslit by the VA for years and they give up. And I see why. Why would you want to go through all that?
And to your point, Doc, the frustrating thing is when you going through this process, it will make you give up. Even with Ruby, you have to tell me, Josh have to tell me, CJ is like, look, man, we're gonna provide you with everything that you need in order so that you understand the process. But the most important thing for you to do is to not give up because it's a fight, right? It's like you know, you have to attend the CMPs. I mean, you're not going to get the perfect person, but it's like you have to continue to fight for what you deserve, and that's what I continue to do. And I feel like the number one thing in this process is staying faithful and being diligent on your end too. Because I mean, again, you guys do set the expectation that hey, we're not the one making the decision. We can only take what you got, your evidence, submit it. We're going to hope for the best, right? But you got to actually take your time to explain what's in the medical documents, what the VA needs in order for them to evaluate you properly. And I think that's where you guys got the, I would say, the one up, or the what's the word I'm looking for. I mean the detail. I mean the proofs in the pudding, man. You guys have the expertise. You guys are experts at that. So I really appreciated that, man. And I couldn't believe it, like the process. I mean, the higher level review, dealing with so many different examiners, and just again that care piece that you guys have really pushed me to the next level within my claims process, because you have so many different claims companies out here that do it, and I mean, it's an affordable one time price. I'm not just saying this. I'm not paid to do this. I'm dead ass serious. Excuse my French. I don't know if I can.
You can say
But
whatever you want, man. You can be as dead
yeah,
ass
but
serious as you want.
yeah, I mean, I'm not. This is not a paid interview, man. Like I literally, like seriously, went through this process, and it changed my life. Like to understand it, to get the help that I need, and help my family. I couldn't thank Ruby enough. I couldn't thank you enough, man.
Man,
Yeah,
we're happy to do it, and I say that sincerely because again, it's a no fluff process.
at all.
We try to treat every single person by the golden rule and give everybody our A game, and knowing that we're up against kind of a shady system, right?
I mean, look
We,
at
re-
look at
we
look at look at what was that guy? The guy that was just in what was his name that just said those things? It was see, this is part of my PTSD, my mental health. I forget
you talking
shit.
about the guy who spoke to Congress,
Yeah, and then Duckworth was the only one that stood up for us, man. It's like, how can you sit there and say those kind of things, and you used every fucking benefit that you could possibly think of from the
very
VA?
frustrated. I
No,
saw that
absolutely.
and I had a visceral reaction, and it's not because like, oh, we're trying to get away with money and stuff. Like
It was Gade. Yeah, it was Gade. Yeah. Mhm.
the way the VA will talk out of one side of its mouth about supporting veterans and building everything to give care, I get it. And Collins is a great guy running the show. I get it. But what's
Yeah.
missing is not the speed at which claims are processed. That's not the problem. And it's been bad, don't get me wrong. The problem is the disconnect between reality, evidence, and how these things are adjudicated. And even in good cases, it's so variable that it's kind of pathetic. And, again, call a spade a spade. I'm not trying to fix the VA because that is, you'll lose your mind trying to do that and or end
A
up dead
hundred
in a ditch
percent.
somewhere. And, that's not my goal. Mine is to help one at a time. And that's what we do. Because in reality, you know, everybody's worst day is their worst day, right? So comparing apples and oranges, whether you were combat, IED, blast, lost a limb, like that guy who was talking, yeah, that's awful. That's terrible. Yeah, you should be taken
Excuse
care of
me.
for that
Yeah,
problem. But
exactly.
and not to be, and I'm an orthopedic surgeon, so like I'm not notoriously a very soft-minded person. I'm very objective, but there are a lot of conditions and a lot of scars and painful things that maybe aren't quite as visible that are very real. right? And it's not to just say,
Yeah,
oh, everybody, Mother Teresa soft stuff, but it's true. People struggle, their lives fall apart, they don't feel supported by their VA, and it's demoralizing. And like that's really what I try to do with these talks with you guys is that no matter where you are along the process, in the company, outside the company, see this, hear it from a friend. And that's a big part because it's all about talking to your friends about don't give up. It doesn't have to be sign up with Woobie. That's great. Be happy to help
correct.
people, but it's about keeping people on track with hope. Because once you kind of lose hope in this area, you can lose a lot. You get that spiral in life and you start living in that self-destructive way. I don't care who you are. Everybody has a limit. And this is, I think, a way that is above board to take care of our people more than just buying bracelets for PTSD or suicide awareness. Like, yeah, that's great. And I say that a
Mhm.
lot, but what does that really do? Where does that money go? It sure as hell doesn't go straight to veterans, realistically. No offense to the people doing that. How
Correct.
you help veterans is either A, you fix the VA, which good luck, or you fight the VA with truth and honesty and take care of our people and even our name, like Woobie, we've got you covered. Like it's a supportive system, but the reality is this: is that you have to take action with us. And there's a lot
Correct.
of misconception and there's a lot of lazy veterans. I'll be honest. People coming in kind of entitled, and you pay money to a company and like, well, what do you mean I got to do something?
Yeah, this is not the
Anything good in
process.
anything
Yeah,
good in
where
life that's worth having, anything good in life worth having takes work. So that
yeah.
period.
And to my fellow vets that's watching this, it's like you have to use your support system. Like my wife helped me through the process, right? You can't just expect, I mean, if you're having issues doing things on your own, use the support system that you have. But this is a process where Wooby is gonna have you understand the details of the entire process based on your conditions. But you do have to do your part. And like you said, Doctor, with anything that you do in life, you know, and again, there's no guarantee, but if you push through, be diligent, show up to your appointments, you guys have the expertise and the experience. This truly helps. So I feel like another thing I was gonna say that's particular with what you guys do is that again, it's just it's the details and understanding, right? So yeah, I completely agree.
And
Yeah.
so one thing too that I think's different about us, which again, I want people to know this, and even people on board, like you may know it contractually in that, but we don't do a la carte. We don't charge you for filings. We don't charge you for documents. We do what is right. And then we try to explain and educate you to understand and really not just understand, believe it, why we're doing things a certain way. Because
Then you
that's
got
what it
somebody
takes,
to work
right?
with you. Yeah, you
That
got you
trust.
got shit. Yeah,
And knowing that cases like yours where hey, it may take 3 iterations of this or 7 or 70, but like the only thing we can guarantee is that we're not going to quit on you. That's it. So it's a membership based upfront fee because we want serious people. We want to sift through the people that want something for nothing.
huh.
I still help those kind of people, but like first thing when you come on board is like culture shock. Like I mean, I'm not still in the military, but as a surgeon and a military officer, like I still am the way I am. Like I expect things from the people underneath me. It's not just kissing my ass. It's the opposite. Like I'm
Correct.
empowering you guys and I will give you 100%. I will lead from the front, but you've got to meet me with a couple things before I take that hill. You know what I mean? And if you
hundred
prepare me
percent.
the best way, I think it gives us the best shot. And in the end, we're still up against a big enemy, so to speak. I mean, I hate to call
Well,
VA the enemy, but it's true.
yeah, there's two things that I want to say to my fellow vets, right? Is number one, every veteran situation is unique. You can't sit here and just be like, well, I heard him get this, and I heard her get this. Dude, it's not the same. Your one unique situation, you can submit something just like you heard about somebody else submitted, and your outcome could be completely different. It just depends on the RSVR that you spoke to, or that got your profile that landed. You don't know what you don't know what regional office it lands to. You don't know what raider it lands with
Yeah, they
and
don't
how
put their
they
names
process.
on any of the documents.
None of it.
Nothing is traceable. And like you want
Yeah,
to start VA, if the VA is listening in on us, here's where you start, Secretary Collins, real clearly. You have them sign their name on those documents. And you
yeah,
actually do external to that little office field audits. they're real quick to jump on people for auto approving stuff, which, that came out in the news about a month ago, which is
I
crazy.
seen that.
And
Yeah.
I don't
Hmm.
want that either. Like, for
Yeah.
Christ's sake, can we like use objective reason and logic and make right decisions? Like, first thing is you got to put your name on something. Anything done in the dark or the shade is probably not very legit. And I'm talking to the VA. Everything we do, like, on the other hand, I'll say it straight. We do everything in the light. There are no shady tactics. Like, that's how we roll,
And
because it
that,
catches up to you one way or the other if you don't.
yeah, my second point was a lot of these companies out here, for y'all, for everything that y'all do for a flat fee, there's no comparison. Some companies will take 20 to 30 fucking percent of whatever your back pay is. And that's future
Unbelievable.
back boy. I mean, I've seen it because I've been offered contracts. I've done my research. I just so happened how I heard about you guys. I just so happened to be in a barber chair. One of my fellow vets is a barber. He was cutting my hair. He was in the Navy. He's like, "Hey, I have a friend, that works with this company called Woobie. I'm gonna get you in contact." And I got in contact with CJ. CJ got me in contact with Josh, and it was like it was God given, I would say. But
Off to
you
the
guys is
races,
flat
man.
100%. So you guys, in compare when it comes to cost, extremely affordable. You're not charging tens of thousands of dollars. You're not charging this big percentage of back pay. You truly
Yep.
care, and that I feel like sets y'all apart. To be
And part of
honest.
that, if we're calling people out, I'll say it like this: is we're not run by lawyers. Like, we
Yeah,
may have a couple lawyers
exactly.
that we have in pocket to help us with like literal business law, not the
Yeah,
actual claim. These companies, on average, they can give it any fancy generic veteran assistance title they want with red, white, and blue and an eagle on it.
exactly.
I don't care. They are run by legal entities that are extorting the veteran. So when you hear claim sharks and, oh, Congress is trying to, cut out these companies, like, I hear them and they're right. But hey, we're not one size fits all. There are actual
Correct.
organizations like us
Correct.
who are not a
Yeah.
part of that system. And we certainly also see the enemy of the VA and the enemy of the claim sharks. So it's, like geopolitics. Just because, to use an example, like, you may, ardently support Israel and be so anti-Palestinian and black and white. And then you may be on the other side. You think, everything Israel is doing is awful and you're pro-Palestinian. Well, I got news for those kind of thinkers, is that sometimes, and I'm not even in that scenario, but read between the lines,
Yeah.
sometimes they're both wrong. And to lump it all together, make everything a red or blue or a black or white choice is the setup. And meanwhile, the people that pull the strings are taking the money elsewhere. Trust me. And again, maybe I've been down the rabbit hole too far, too long, too much tinfoil hat, but that's how the world works. And trust me, the multi-billion-dollar VA disability, you know, fund that that you're never going to cut because it's political suicide, right?
It definitely would be. I don't as much as they have as much as they talk about it, I don't think they'd ever do that ever.
And they're not, and they
They'd never
shouldn't.
cut funding for vets. Yeah.
Right. But if they do, the point is that there's still people manipulating that system from
A
the
hundred
top.
percent. A
They want
hundred
to
percent.
worry about the bottom,
Yeah.
suckers, right? That are, cheating and lying and creating fake documents or lying about their symptoms, which is detestable. And like, honestly, that's karma. And like, if you get caught doing that kind of stuff, you deserve what you get.
You
That's
definitely
why
do.
I sleep very well at night, knowing that everything I do and what we do and we stand for as a company is in the light and is in the truth. And we have nothing to worry about. So all we do is just the right thing one at a time, stay in the light, never veer towards the shade, and it'll all work out.
Again, believe in the steps, guys. Take it day by day. There is no user manual to this. Every situation is unique. You can read this. I did my own research. I was on Reddit. I was on YouTube. Rest in peace, Combat Craig, Lou. I did everything that you can think of. These guys have integrity, and I appreciate everything that y'all have done for me, Doc. Seriously.
Absolutely. You're
I mean,
very welcome,
I'm proud. I'm sitting at the fucking gym right now, like,
my
no.
man. It's
So
the best thing you can
like,
do. I'm
yeah,
jealous of it.
absolutely, absolutely. I'm trying to get my situation right, man. I mean,
Yeah, man.
it's
That's what
still a
you have
struggle,
to do.
but
And
I
guess
mean,
what?
this is
You
help.
get
Yeah,
you get a little boost too. Like, this rating is not going to bring you joy for the rest of your life. It's not gonna, but
not
it,
at all.
it gives you the safety net to focus on the things you need to. to
Yeah.
improve yourself and your life and your family and your community and your hope. It's all about hope, man. Like, again, I'm trying not to be a preacher,
Yes,
but
sir.
that's what I am at heart. And you use this as a trampoline, not as the ending point, right? And I think a
Correct.
lot of even like disabled vet stuff, like it's nasty because it's not necessarily, you don't want to just then quit and sit on your butt. Like, it's not that much money when we're talking about today's dollars. It's not. I'm sorry to
At
tell you,
all.
it's not $1 million a year. It's not.
Mm-mm.
So you need and you should go do something with it. Go get education, not just the money, but the benefits. Go use those benefits to make your community better, make yourself find a passion, whatever it is that's constructive and not destructive. And so, I would challenge anybody out there listening to, get on Reddit, get on the threads. It doesn't have to just be us. This is not privileged information like, oh, sign up and we'll
Correct.
tell you the secret. There is no secret. The secret is being honest and hardworking and thinking about the 30,000-foot view as well as that microscopic detail view that you mentioned. And we'll help you do
100%.
it, or you do it yourself. Like, that's what we want. We just want veterans to get what they earned and what they deserve. That's it. That's simple. That's why I love what I do.
Integrity based, man. That's tell my sons about it every day. Do
Amen.
the
Well,
right thing, like no when nobody's looking, man.
that's
So
the
I
definition of
appreciate
character.
that.
It's the
A hundred
definition
percent.
of character. And we can talk about it till we're blue in the face, but you got to be about it. You got to do it. Like, you
Yeah.
got to lead by action. And then, as we grow, if we keep doing things the way we do it, like I've said multiple times, it will take care of itself. We're not going to shift gears. We're not going to try to, like, then get greedy and then mimic the lawyers. No, we're going
Yeah.
to keep it and grow the right way. And as we expand, I cannot wait to see what the next couple of years of Woobie turns into, because I have a seat at the table, and our leadership, what we have, is thinking about that already. So it's a super exciting thing that I never thought I'd be doing, but it's really cool to take people like you and shift it up a little bit and change your life.
Thank you, Doc. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely been life changing, and I couldn't thank y'all enough. Again, I'm still lost for words. But like you said, it's important that we get out there and be the best that we can be, and get be a part of a community, you
Amen.
know.
And that's my
Yes, sir.
charge. I usually wrap these kind of things up by saying, I don't tell people what to do hardly at all with their claims. I try to guide them and advise them. One charge is, be the best you can be, but go help other people. And it doesn't have to be just send them to Woobie. If they need it, great. Plug.
Correct.
Sure. That's awesome. But more importantly, check out your brothers and sisters who may be struggling in silence a little bit, and, like, be bold enough to just be their friend. Talk to them. And, like, talking about VA disability ratings is a great icebreaker, but help your people in your community and your family, and ride that butterfly effect and that domino effect all the way to good things, man. That's my charge to you.
Yes, sir.
All
Thank you,
right, man.
Doc.
Well, thank you for the time, and God bless you, and stay in
God
touch
bless
for
you
real.
too, man. Absolutely.
All right. Talk to you
All right.
later.
Thank you. All
Out.
right.